What is up, Cinephiles? Welcome back to Screen Kings. It's been a while, but now I'm back for another Netflix movie review. This one is a Swedish action thriller film called Black Crab / Svartkrabba, directed by Adam Berg. And it's set on a apocalyptic Sweden. There's a civil unrest, and we have 6 soldiers who are tasked to transport these 2 mysterious capsules to a research facility across a frozen open ocean. Our main character here is Caroline Eve, played by Noomi Rapace, and she is promised to be reunited with her long-lost daughter should she be able to fulfill the task. Now, this is a war zone movie, and if you felt like you've seen so many of these, there's something different with this movie, and that is the mode of transportation. They're doing ice skating here, and initially I have my doubts because it seemed too gimmicky, it might seem silly or ridiculous, but this one, I would say Adam Berg treated the movie seriously when it comes to his direction in emphasizing the threat and danger when it comes to this almost suicide mission. He really utilized the landscape here to bring out the uncertainty that comes along with it, the lack of visibility, the snowy setting. So we have a couple of cinematic shots here that are really worth seeing on the big screen. And yeah, the ice skating, they're all cool. We have some overhead shots, a lot of tracking shots. They're all glorious to see. The shootouts are well choreographed, and from a production standpoint, there are some cool and interesting set pieces here. The one that's really standing out for me is this shot of frozen corpses, like an Arctic graveyard. So that can be terrifying to see. However, the biggest con for me in this movie is there is just a lack of solid context on what is happening. Plenty of times in the movie, I find myself asking what is happening. I felt like I am a tourist that's just dropped in the middle of a war zone. I have no logistics on what is happening. Is this Sweden versus another country? Is this the government versus the people? What is the cause of the civil unrest, of the civil war? So it can be frustrating for a viewer who wants a fully fleshed story, and that to me is what I'm looking for, because I need to see the big picture, you know. It's nice that we are having some character-centric story here, but without a big picture on what's happening, it can be sometimes meaningless. That is a bit of a shame because we have here a really well-produced Swedish war film, and I felt like we haven't seen much of those. But because the story is just so vague, sometimes I find myself not really getting invested. And especially to the rest of the supporting characters here, their backstory were basically just reduced to one-liners said during a fireside chat. So I'm not really invested in their safety. Even there are some scenes that can be nerve-wracking, it doesn't really maximize that potential, because to me, these are just disposable characters. The only character that's really lending emotional heft to the story is Eve, played by Noomi Rapace. And we know why she's there, and that is to be reunited with her lost daughter. So she will do whatever it takes. Along the way, we get some flashbacks of her and her daughter, showing her maternal side. And there are just some gaps in the story, how she ended up in the military, but I guess it's up for the audience to fill in those gaps. But overall, I would say Noomi Rapace is excellent in this movie. She's fierce, sometimes feral. I've seen her in a couple of action films now, and I think this is the most hardcore I've seen her. And there's just something about her speaking in her native language that she brings a different kind of energy. It here will have to reconfigure her motivation, and that has something to do with the contents of the capsule, which I won't reveal, but it will be revealed in the middle of the film, and it will be a game changer. So there will be some questions about morality and the ethics of war that the movie attempts to bring into light and question its viewers as well, but it's not maximized because, again, you don't have a full context on what's happening with the movie. So I felt like it's a bit of a wasted opportunity on that part. Now, watching this Europe set war film, I'm of course reminded by the current crisis that Russia and Ukraine are having. So is this something that you're really drawn to watch, given the despair nature and the desolate and bleakness of its tone? I would say not, but you can still watch this film if you're looking for that warning in a general sense of what war brings to a nation when it comes to the destruction, the fall of society, fellow men turning against each other. So there are some themes in this movie that can be perceived as timely, and just a general warning of the horrible things that we're about to face if we go into a World War III. Like, everyone has a choice. Of course, we wouldn't want that to happen. So yeah. So overall, this movie, I would say it has a cool concept for a war film, but it has a weak script, so it doesn't feel memorable. It just feels on a serviceable level. I guess it does its purpose if you're looking for that pastime to watch. I was watching The Adam Project a few days ago and I felt bored because it's so predictable and it's so generic. So between these two, I would nudge you over into this direction of this movie, Black Crab. Overall, I'm gonna give this a 2.5 out of 5. Still a decent score for a Netflix action film. There's just too much vagueness in the story to make it really memorable, but in terms of being a serviceable action film, it's pretty straightforward from point A to point B, so you can get a kick out of this. And yeah, if anything else, I'm glad to discover Adam Berg because I can see that he really has the talent when it comes to directing big budget war films like this. And that's it for my review of Black Crab, now streaming on Netflix. Have you seen this movie? Let me know what you think in the comment sections down below. Also, what's the last war film you've seen? If you've enjoyed watching this video, give this a like and subscribe to me for weekly reviews of movies and TV shows. Until then, I'll see you all on the next one.